What is the best way for MCU fans to enjoy their journey to Avengers Endgame? That is right here, Journey to Avengers Endgame, the YouTube series where we're going to review all the movies from Iron Man 1 up until Avengers Endgame. Then we're going to rank them all from the worst to the best on this YouTube channel, talking with Jay Springett. So subscribe, hit that bell, you don't want to miss a thing. Let's get straight into it. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel, Talking with Jay Springett. I'm your host Jay, giving you a video on the channel today. Today we continue our journey to Avengers Endgame. I'm going to be reviewing Iron Man 3. So I'm going to go over the movie, give it my official rating and my thoughts. I want you guys to leave yours in the comment section down below. As always, I'd love to interact with you, whether it's not even about the movie, if it's about MCU related stuff in general. I'd love to see and talk to you in the comment section down below. And don't forget, if you've missed what we've done already, we've reviewed from Iron Man all the way up until the Avengers, as well as obviously today's one of Iron Man 3. We reviewed all the films already, and we're going to continue to review them all the way up to Avengers Endgame. Then we're going to rank them from the worst to the best, so you guys just don't want to miss it. So subscribe, hit that bell, and there will be an MCU playlist, links in the description, annotations at the end of the video, and a card throughout the video. You just do not want to miss all the MCU content we've got coming up, as well as already on the channel. On Saturday, we will have Thor: The Dark World review, so stay tuned for that. So guys, let's just get straight into my review. Iron Man 3 is an action-adventure sci-fi movie, and it is around 2 hours and 11 minutes long. This was released on the 3rd of May 2013, and the critics give it the scores. Rotten Tomatoes giving it an 80%, IMDb giving it a 7.2 out of 10, and Metacritic giving it a 62. Now these scores are definitely upped from the Iron Man 2's ratings from these critics. I don't know how you guys take critic scores, but me personally, I just look at them just to see their opinions, and it's just their opinion at the end of the day. It's just like it's going to be mine. There's going to be a lot of opinions maybe in this which may offend people. I don't want it to offend you guys. Let me know your comments in the comment section down below. We're going to have differences. This film is about Tony Stark facing worry and insomnia since saving New York from destruction. Tony is more dependent on the suits that give him the power and not himself. His self-confidence seems very low. So much in his life it is affected, including his relationship with Pepper. After an enemy known as the Mandarin strikes, Tony must rely on instinct to avenge his losses and protect the people he loves. Obviously, straight away, let's kick it off with the main guy. It is Robert Downey Jr. playing as Tony Stark and Iron Man. Now, Robert Downey Jr. never seems to disappoint me when it comes to playing Iron Man. I like all of his movies, even the Sherlock Holmes movies. I really just think Robert Downey Jr. is a world-class actor and really just continues to perform, even when there's a bad movie. Now, Robert Downey Jr. in this movie was probably the main thing throughout the movie that kept me interested, if I'm being completely honest with you guys. I don't know about you guys, but I think Robert Downey Jr. really stepped it up to make this film even watchable, to be honest with you. I really just think his performance alone with Iron Man, seeing him struggle and his connections with people throughout the movie, his storyline of him struggling since Avengers really was the key story for me, and how he copes without that self-confidence, that cockiness that he always had, because he felt he was the best. Now he feels like the suit's what makes him. Sort of like in Spider-Man. If you remember Spider-Man in Homecoming, you had Tony saying exactly the same advice because he's been through it in Iron Man 3. That piece of advice that he gives Peter, it's not the suit that makes you, it's you that makes you Spider-Man. That is what happens in this segment, and I completely really did enjoy this movie because of that storyline. Next up, we have Gwyneth Paltrow playing as Pepper Potts. Now, Pepper in this was probably the second most character I really enjoyed in this movie. I think she had a crucial role to play. She also came into some of the action in this movie. She actually saves Tony in one of the scenes in this movie, and she also plays a key part in the movie. There's a lot of things that happen when it comes to Pepper Potts in this movie. She faces really bad struggles in this movie from the bad guy and the assistants along in his team. And there's just a lot of things that happens to Pepper in this movie. As well as obviously Tony seeing her fall. He thinks she's dead. There's a lot of things, and I think Gwyneth Paltrow really deserves all the praise coming towards her for this movie. Because me personally, if this film didn't have them two in it, I probably wouldn't enjoy it as much. Next up, we have Don Cheadle playing as James Rhodes, Rhodey. In this movie, he wasn't in it much, but when he was in it, his scenes were okay. I really did enjoy him. The main thing I really did like was the ending. When he helped Tony at the end and saved the president and stuff like that, there was a few things in this movie I think he done well. The other parts really was when he got the new upgraded suit and stuff like that. I think he's a great person and a great addition to the Iron Man series, but I don't think he made as much of an impact than he did in Iron Man 2. Last but not least, we have Guy Pearce playing as Aldrich Killian. I think that's how you pronounce it. He is basically the bad guy in this movie. I really did enjoy his work in this movie. I think the thing that happened with this movie was not the person playing it. I think it was the way that the story and the character was made. I think with him, I think he had a tough job to really portray a really badass bad guy, and I think it's however you guys take it. It's either it failed or it didn't. And this movie got a lot of hate, and a lot of it was due to how the bad guy works. How he is a bad guy because of this thing that's inside him that makes him powerful and stuff like that. That's the thing that really, whether you love it or hate it, that's up to you. But me personally, I liked him. I liked him as the bad guy. I think Guy Pearce done a great job in that role, but I just didn't like the way the character was made. The way it was all written and directed, I just think they could have done Iron Man 3 a lot better when it comes to the bad guy. So guys, when I like to rate my movies, I like to look at 4 things. That is storyline, script and dialogue, the directing, and editing. And under editing, I look at the pace in the movie, the music, and the visuals. Now let's get straight to storyline. The storyline of this movie, in my personal opinion, there was the main plot point of Tony. That was pretty much the storyline throughout the movie of how Tony was going to get to where he needs to be to save Pepper and all the people around him. You have your side plot points throughout the movie, and it was easy to follow, but there was faults with the storyline, and it was more to do with behind the scenes and actual storyline itself. I think the storyline of Iron Man 3 could have been so much better to finish off the trilogy. I think you had a strong film in number 1. A lot of people hate number 2 or love it, and the same with Iron Man 3. Next up, we have the script and the dialogue. Now, the script and the dialogue throughout the movie was pretty easy to follow. I do think there was some quotes throughout the movie for the bad guy. He just seemed very, very like Tony in a way. If you can sort of understand what I mean about that, is because he had the confidence. He had one over on Tony. Now, in that sense, it's fine, but in that sense, it felt like I missed Tony doing that. That's just my personal take on it. I do think everybody had their fair amount of script, mainly Tony and Pepper and the bad guy, Aldrich, but I think, to be honest, the script was pretty basic. I don't think they went all out like they tried to do in number 2 and failed. I think they kept it pretty basic in this movie, and rightfully so. Next up, we have the directing. Now, in this movie, I did want to let you guys know there was a new director named Shane Black. Obviously, the director from number 1 and 2 dropped out before making the 3rd movie, and Shane Black took over, which is a close friend to Robert Downey Jr. I think he worked on a couple movies with him before, and Robert Downey Jr. really wanted someone close by that he trusts to direct the movie, so he took this guy on. Now, this explains the new style in Iron Man 3. Now, whether you love it or hate it, as I said, it's all depending on you, but me personally, I see the director's vision in this movie. I understand it. I would love it, but I don't love it. I see that he tried to do something, but it didn't work out as well. Now, the story was pretty basic, as I said already in the storyline, but it seemed to me like he tried to reach for something but done it 3/4 and not the full length. That's just how I see it as a fan. Now, everybody has their own opinions and has their own taste, and a lot of people will probably say Iron Man 3 was better than Iron Man 2. I don't think the director was a complete foul. I do appreciate that he tried to change the style from number 2 to number 3, because it did need a change. There was things wrong with Iron Man 2 that actually were improved in this movie, but there was also things in this movie that was at fault that wasn't in Iron Man 2. And last but not least, we have the editing. Now, the pacing of the movie is at fault, in my personal opinion, throughout this movie. When I was watching the others before this, there was at parts I was on my phone throughout this movie because the pacing just seems so slow. Iron Man 1 and 2 had slow parts throughout the movie, don't get me wrong, but this was a very slow paced movie. Even when the action sequences were on, the only action sequence throughout this movie that was actually at a decent pace was the ending. We have the music. Now, the music, I didn't really hear a lot of music in this one compared to Iron Man 1 and 2. You had your AC/DC and like rock and roll type music. I didn't really hear a lot of music in this movie. So that was another thing I wanted to point out. There may have been some music throughout, but I really didn't hear and pay attention, and it didn't really kick me and make me feel like, yeah, this is a good film, because music is supposed to make you feel a mood, and I don't think the music was a key part of this movie. Next up, we have the visuals. Now, the visuals are a good thing. I think the visuals throughout the movie were really good, top notch. Even on the bad guys, when you had the thing inside them which made them powerful, I think that was well done. It showed how good the visuals were, as well as Tony's suits and him flying and the actual explosions and everything. I think the visuals have improved massively from Iron Man 1 to where we are in Iron Man 3. When I rate my movies, it either falls into the categories of really bad, good, or totally awesome. Now, obviously, from hearing my thoughts, you know this movie isn't going to be a totally awesome movie. But will it be a good movie, a bad movie, or a really bad movie? Let's just get straight into it. My rating I'm going to give this movie is a 6.5 out of 10. 6.5 out of 10 makes it a good movie. Good. Hold your horses. Now, a lot of people may be very angry with that rating, but me personally, from Iron Man 2, which was a 6.8 if I remember rightly, out of 10, I personally enjoyed watching that movie more than I enjoyed watching this one. And now that plays a big part in my ratings. There's a lot of faults with this movie, me personally, and I had a lot of issues trying to get through this movie and really appreciating the director's aim in this movie. And I didn't want to rate it too low and be too harsh, because I do see big ambitions, and I still did enjoy parts of the movie. And the funny thing about this, guys, is when I watched this years and years ago when it came out, this was probably my second favourite Iron Man movie. This was over number 2. But going back and really rewatching it and seeing how I feel about it now, I prefer Iron Man 2 just about over Iron Man 3. So guys, that is my movie review for Iron Man 3. A 6.5 out of 10 is my official rating. Let me know your rating in the comment section down below, as well as your thoughts on the movie. And if you want to talk about the other Iron Man movies or any Avengers or MCU related stuff, let me know in the comment section down below. Even if you have any video suggestions, let me know down below as well. Smash that thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. And don't forget, if you've missed anything so far, there will be a playlist link for the MCU in the link in the description, annotation at the end of this video, and a card throughout the video you can click on. You do not want to miss all the MCU stuff I've got currently on the channel and the stuff that's coming up in this journey to Avengers Endgame YouTube series. Now guys, don't forget as well, on Saturday for the Dark World movie review will be up, so you don't want to miss that as well. So subscribe, hit that bell, you will not be disappointed with the content we've got coming up. So without further ado, I've been me, you've been you, and I'll see you next time guys on Talking with Jay Springett.